27, Monday, February 1st, first day of Black History Month, which we're going to talk about on the show, not just tonight, but many nights. That we have Attorney General Keith Ellison on from Minnesota. We'll discuss how do you celebrate in a way that actually is meaningful. But look, today is February 1st, and we woke up today to news of a coup in Myanmar. And it was carried out by the military. And how do they justify this coup? To take control of a nation that actually had essentially a democracy in its infancy? Well, they claimed there was election fraud. They claimed there was widespread election fraud, despite the fact that the state's own commission studied it and said there was no widespread election fraud. Sound familiar? And what happened is the military stepped in and is now taking control and said they were doing it because for the good of the nation, and they're going to remain in control for a year. And remember, the military is going to lead the nation for the year. And then maybe they'll have elections after that. And when you see more about it, forget that it's across the world. It's the same blueprint that Donald Trump was following. It's the blueprint of those who do not believe in democracy. It's the blueprint of those who believe in fascism, who believe in military rule to achieve power. And that's what we saw with Donald Trump. And you know, as we learn more over the weekend again, as there's more and more ongoing investigations into the Trump terrorist who sieged our Capitol, that, you know, part of it was maybe him speaking at that event on January 6th, but a lot more was Donald Trump inciting this insurrection over 2 months of lies about a stolen election. And according to FBI documents released over the weekend, the attack was plotted and coordinated. Numerous people, such as leaders of the Proud Boys, which they Trump-loving Proud Boys, Trump famously said for them to stand by at the debate. Well, they stood by and they waited. When Trump called on them to help him stay in power, they were there on January 6th. Also, we learned something else. And this is really probably the most alarming part, that a disproportionate amount of people who were arrested now were U.S. military veterans. Approximately 15%, they're saying now, of those arrested, and maybe we'll see that number change up or down in time, were U.S. military veterans. CNN did a great job reporting that, following some of the people. And these people had experience in being involved in the military and planning and coordination. These people had taken an oath to our country. And then they took an oath to Donald Trump and put our country second in the name of Donald Trump. And when you look what happened in Myanmar, you realize how fragile our democracy is. We are the oldest continuous democracy in the world, and we're only about 240 plus years old. Because democracies fail. There's been democracies that have come after us and have failed, and those that were here when we became as a nation and have failed. So in terms of continuous democracies, we are the oldest. If you take a breath and look at that, take a step back, 240 years is nothing in the history of this planet. To think that's the longest continuous democracy should alarm you. You should also realize that we almost lost that this year. What we saw from Myanmar is this. The only reason we didn't lose our democracy is that the military did not join Donald Trump's coup. Donald Trump had done all he could to court the military. He used them just months before the coup attempt to clear the street and gas our own people so he can have a photo op. That's what our military did in his name, and that was a wake-up call for them. You know, Mark Miley, the general, said that was a mistake and they were not going to do it again. But when you see the fact that at least 15% of those people in the siege who have been arrested so far served in the military, it means there are probably elements of our military now who have given a chance, perhaps would have joined a coup attempt. I'm not sure what percent. It could be 2%. It could be 1%. We didn't see it this time, and we're not going to see it in the near future, thank God. But first of all, it's something the military should be aware of, and I think they have to vet and do their vetting now ongoing and find out if there are white nationalists in their midst, are there Proud Boys in their midst, are there groups in there who believe in absolute power, not democracy, or in our military. They should be rooted out. But I think secondly, the bigger question is, why is Donald Trump not under arrest today? When you wage a coup throughout the history of this world and you fail, there must be consequences. And the consequences can't be a show trial in a week and a half in the Senate, where the worst penalty is you can't run for president again. Even if he's convicted, does that deter someone else from waging another coup in our nation? Of course not. Donald Trump should be in jail today, no bail, and he should be charged with the insurrection, as well as, don't forget, with Michael Cohen, his former lawyer, who went to jail for charges including a felony federal election crime, which he said Donald Trump directed him to do, and Donald Trump is individual one in the U.S. attorney's pleadings and what they wrote, not what Michael Cohen said, in what they wrote in the Southern District of New York here. Donald Trump should be charged now, and he should be in jail right now awaiting his trial. And the longer he's out, the more chance he has to plot an insurrection, because we're seeing the GOP is refusing to hold him accountable. In fact, they're rallying around him. Kevin McCarthy just flew down to the House GOP leader to bear hug him. You have Republicans lining up with Trump. They will line up with another insurrection. The only way they will be deterred, and I mean the Josh Hawleys, the Ted Cruzes, others on the right who do not believe in democracy any longer, I mean the small d, they believe in absolute power, Tom Cotton would be in that bunch, is to put Donald Trump in jail for the rest of his life. That is the only message that needs to be. If you don't send that message, we're going to have it again. So Donald Trump today, February 1st, should be in prison. He should have been in prison weeks ago. But now, after what we learned this weekend and what we saw in Myanmar, it is even more alarming. Donald Trump's committed crimes, incitement, insurrection. Insurrection is a federal law, federal crime. He'd be charged with that. Seditious conspiracy, charged with that. Federal election crime, charged with that. And let the Manhattan DA do his own work on Donald Trump's financial crimes, whatever they might be. The longer Donald Trump is not charged, the more likely we have another insurrection. The more likely we lose this fragile thing called democracy. It's up to us. The stakes are clear. Myanmar should be a wake-up call for all of us. This is what stands before us. So we'll talk about that and more in my show tonight on SiriusXM channel 127 from 6 to 9 p.m. Again, if you don't subscribe to SiriusXM, go to the website. It's a snow day. There's a free trial on SiriusXM's website. Join it, call in, be a part of our family. We got a lot of work to do, my friends. We are the firewall to democracy. It is progressives who are the real patriots in this nation. So join us, be a part of it. If you want progress, stay active. Thanks for tuning in.